So, okay, so I'm listening to this. Uh, the path to enlightenment sounds like a very individual thing. So, how do I take this approach and let go of control if I'm working, if I'm in a marriage, if I have children? Because I can't lose control of all of that, right? So, how do I do it?
So here, for example, if you are married and if you have a kids, right? Here, you do have to participate in the world. You know, you cannot make babies and just abandon the babies and the wife. You can't do that.
That's not enlightenment.
You know, that is still, if you're running away from the relationship with the babies and wife or husband, whatever, right? If you're running away from it, then itself is you're running away from the fear
Right.
of responsibility. You know,
Right.
so you still have to do whatever we need to do on the outside. However, again, truth is an inward, as you said. It's an individual journey. It's a backward journey. It's internal journey.
Right.
We don't have to touch anything on the outside to wake up. It's about looking into our conflict, looking into our fear, and working on the inside why those things are there and bothers me a lot. You know, and also it creates a lot of conflict and resistance in everything I'm trying to do. You know, we have to look into this. So it's all internal. You know, it's a dismantling the internal kingdom we have created in ourselves, the egotistical kingdom. You know,
Right.
so dissolving that is to be free, and again, we don't have to, you know, abandon what we have in a relationship. We take care of them in an essential way, and while we're taking care of them, when we have a free time to you know, then we look into ourselves and try to figure out who we are. So that means we can move in a parallel way.
Right.
So
It's not either or.
yeah, you walk for parallel way for enough, and then you start to see the waves in us, how waves are
You can start
build
to
up
actually
there.
see the control that you've fallen into.
Yes.
And the patterns you've fallen into.
Yes, you start to see that, and you start to see that everything I have is just a belief at one point, you know. And then there will be a point, if you're really serious about waking up, then if you are walking seriously, there will be time to detach from everything for a bit, you know, to really figure out who you are. But before that moment comes in life to, you know, detach from you know, stuff, we can always walk in a parallel way, not, you know, running away from our responsibilities on the relative world, in a functioning world with the family or relationship, you know, or even the job we have in the relative world to make money. We don't throw that out right away to become a spiritual, you know.
Right.
You know, like we just have to, okay, I'm interested in the spirituality to free myself, and you know, and that's good. But again, we don't have to fight with the world, you know. You know, to become a spiritual, you don't have to let go the material stuff right away, you know. It's a walking parallel first.
Right.
And that is this is the one thing in the world misses most of the time, that you know, there's a rejection on the outer world so much, the functioning world so much, from the you know, when people start to become spiritual, you know, and rejecting, and then the righteousness comes from the spiritual, you know, being spiritual, you
Right.
know. So and being spiritual itself is such an egotistical self. That is a stubborn self, you know, the stubborn self, I can say. So being spiritual, you know, and you know, letting go of that the spiritual self is the hardest thing. And at some point, people try to maintain that spiritual self, because spiritual self is the highest self in the world, isn't it?
Well, that's what we all aspire to. Or
Yes, the world is inspired to get there, and when you get there, and especially when you are, if you are in a spiritual, you know, market.
I'm more spiritual than you.
Yeah, and then when you are teaching people, then letting go of that spiritual costume is the hardest one, and we try to control that costume by inviting even more layers in us, and that is the way to get stuck in the spiritual realm, you know. So,
So is this a problem with a lot of gurus, for example? They get caught in
I
this?
would say yes. If they are taking the guru seat, and if they are not teaching about letting dissolving the mind, and teaching adding into their mind more, then that teaching is already false, and the teacher is trying to maintain his or own the highest spiritual seat in life, and that is the that is the illusion in the person, and that itself is blocking their own journey, and they are not awake. They will have a hard time to wake up from the falls, and these people teaching the people to wake up, how?
Right.
It's just the blind leading the blind kind of
Right.
stuff, and the whole world is already there. The whole world is already there, blind leading the blind.
Right.
And the blind leading the blind is a realm of fun. Oh, you're so spiritual. Oh, I'm so spiritual. We're doing so good. It's they're fueling the spiritual journey, and whatever they're fueling is itself, is trying to be more egotistical rather than dissolving the ego.
Right.